76ers star Joel Embiid underwent emergency surgery in Houston Thursday after being diagnosed with appendicitis a few hours before the team fell to the Rockets 113-102 in a pivotal late regular season clash. And it's unclear right now whether Embiid would be able to return to the court. Here's head coach Nick Nurse on Embiid's appendectomy.
It's a tough blow. I think that the biggest thing right now is that Joe comes out of the surgery, best as possible, and all that goes well. As far as that's where most of my thoughts are right now. But I'm the leader of the team. I got to pick the guys up, and they'll understand the situation. And we've got to be professional, and we've got to go try to figure it out the best we can.
So this came about on Thursday. He gets added to the injury report late in the afternoon and then has to undergo, added with an illness, and then has to undergo surgery. This is not something you can certainly project, not something he can control, but for someone who's played 490 games in his career, he's missed 473 games. That's a lot. So, David, your reaction to this Joel Embiid injury?
It makes me sad. I'm just kind of bummed out about this. I think about a couple of weeks ago, the 76ers, fully healthy, going to Charlotte in a playoff-level game, and they win. And Embiid is like the best player. Paul George is doing the stuff that he's doing. Maxey has a great game. And this is a dangerous 76ers team that nobody would want to face. Even if they won't win the first round, this is something that, a team that is going to give you problems, and Joel Embiid can be the best player on the court. But now we have something like, look at Joel Embiid. People have been made a lot of jokes and comedy about the injuries and talking about he's got all this knee problems. But an appendectomy is something different.
Can't control that.
And you look at the injuries that he's had just in the playoffs. He had Bell's palsy. He has this appendectomy, respiratory infection in 2019 when he took the Raptors to 7 games and Kawhi made that shot. He was like a plus 100 in that series when he played 2 orbital fractures and concussions. These things are in the playoffs that have derailed their entire seasons. So we can't talk about Joel Embiid as just a guy who is fragile. These are fluke injuries that have changed the course of one of the most talented players, big men that we've ever seen, change his entire career.
Yeah, let's pull up the graphic we have of the games he's missed by notable injury, because there are certain things that have affected him more than others. 153 games he has missed due to knee injuries, and then a pretty significant drop-off, but oblique injuries, illnesses, the face injury, the Bell's palsy you had mentioned, 9 games each with hand and back injuries. It's tough, Vinny, because this is somebody who, at times, it's felt like his body has betrayed him in the biggest moments, and ultimately that ends up hurting the team, whether he controls it or not.
He's going to go down as one of the most unlucky players in NBA history. You're going to have, the Grant Hills, the Penny Hardaways, the Derrick Roses, even Chris Paul to some degree, and you're going to say, man, we got a taste of what Joel Embiid. Once he got over that playoff thing, because there were years where he couldn't perform up to his regular season standard in the playoffs, but he's shaking that off more recently. He's played 96 games since that MVP season, up 3 years ago. That's barely a season and a playoff run since. And to Philadelphia's credit, when you look at Tyrese Maxey and B.J. Edgecomb, you see the future of the franchise. You see it in front of you right there. I didn't give them much of a chance this season, even if you want to call them a scary team in the first round. I didn't give them much of a chance because there's not much sweat equity with their best 4 players. Between Paul George, Embiid, Maxey, and Edgecomb, they played 360 minutes together. If you look at the Knicks' 4 best players of OG Anunoby, Karl Towns, Bridges, and Brunson, 900 minutes. There's just way too much experience on the other side of teams that you're going to be going against that know how to play with each other, that know how to play against other teams. This team doesn't know each other in that way. The Philadelphia 76ers are an idea. That's what they are. They're an idea more than they are anything else, and this is just another unfortunate example of how their best laid plans have never come to bear.
Please tell me why it's so hard to find my future husband right now. You do not have to be perfect, but I just want someone that...
I just feel bad. It's sad for Joel Embiid. Again, we're talking about one of the most talented centers that this game has ever seen. And when you talk about bad luck, it always come at the worst time. right before playoffs or during the first round of the postseason. Like he never has the luck that he needs to go and be at his best. And like David said, hey, look, we're not talking about just knee injuries. We're talking about backs. His back. We're talking about Bell's palsy. It's stuff that he can't control. Stuff that he can't control that's out of his hands. And so, again, I'm kind of pissed off about it because I was looking forward to seeing Joel Embiid play this postseason. I was very critical of the Philadelphia 76ers and Joel Embiid at the start of the season, but I started to see the plan that they had in place. It was actually working. We started to see Joel Embiid, when he first touched the floor at the beginning of the season, he wasn't even dunking. I think he got his first dunk like late January, early February, if I can remember. We started to see Joel Embiid get his legs underneath him. We started to see Joel Embiid start to trend towards that MVP Joel Embiid, and we started to realize and say, hey, if you're one of those top dogs in the Eastern Conference, you might want to stay away from the Philadelphia 76ers in the first round, especially the way Paul George came back off the suspension. Tyrese Maxey playing at an all-NBA level. So, again, it's just sad that we can't see Joel Embiid again this postseason at his best. I don't know if we are going to see him.
Yeah, unclear when he comes back, if he comes back, what that means for their postseason hopes. Perk, you bring it up. They're 21-14 with him on the court this season. But the 76ers have struggled without Joel Embiid. They've gone 19-23 without him when he has played. They're 10 games over 500. And they average close to 120 points a game. So sharp drop-off in offensive production when he is not on the floor. 112.7 points per game without their all-star center. So, Perk, I know we talk about if he's going to come back at all. We're not doctors here, but it doesn't sound like something you rush back from. Are the 76ers playoff hopes cooked without him? Because right now it would line up to be the 76ers Magic in that 7-8 play-in game, and because Philly has the tiebreaker over Charlotte, they do close out the season with the Pacers and the Bucks, so I guess that could keep them in that spot. But are they do they have any hope in the postseason if they get into the actual tournament?
Look, it's going to be hard for them to get into the postseason, to be honest, without Joel Embiid. I'm looking at the teams that are in the play-in tournament. When you talk about the Magic, right, although they've been having their highs and a lot of lows, they still have that core group that can come together and get it done. And Paolo Banchero could be really dominant in that series. The Hornets, obviously, they have been one of the biggest surprises in the NBA, if not the biggest surprise. In the Miami Heat, we know Eric Spoelstra and that Heat culture, what they're going to bring. But again, when you talk, if they do get in, their first round exit, without Joel Embiid, but I'm just being real. I don't see the Philadelphia 76ers getting in without Joel Embiid being in the lineup. I don't see them making the playoffs. I just don't.
Yeah, they have two easy wins coming up. I think what you said, Pacers, Bucks, to end the season. I think those last two wins they're going to have this season. I just do not think that they're going to beat a Magic team or a Hornets team to get out of the play-in. And even if they do squeak by and get a win, they're losing very easily in the first round. Joel Embiid just changed the trajectory, changed the equation for what this team could be if he's on the court. We've talked about offensively what he meant, but when he was healthy during that stretch a couple months ago, defensively in the paint, when you're talking about blocking shots, he was up there with Embiid. He was up there with Gobert.
Sure.
And Wemby in terms of diverting the offense from the paint when he was fully healthy. That is something that he brought to that team defensively. Without that, I'm not sure they can stop anybody. And without him offense.
The April 15th tax deadline is coming, and your max refund is a few steps away with TurboTax.